Okay, I'm back with introducing another member of our Red Circle Collective community. As you know, the reason that I'm doing this, and I hope if you haven't done this, you come and do one, is because we all need to get to know each other. Because what the hell is the point of being in a community where y'all don't do anything with each other, know each other, or anything else? You're all just hanging out. So, when people launch a book, when they have a podcast, when they do a TEDx talk, and things like that, you need community, you need people behind you to promote and launch things. And so that's why we're doing this. Want you to show up. We just kicked out 200 people out of our group because no bios, no pictures, no whatever, no engagement. You're out. Boom. I'd rather have a small community than a big one. But anyway, today, woohoo, I'm introducing you to my bestie, Leslie, and I'm going to let her tell you who she is, what she does, and then we're going to get into it. So take it away, Leslie.
Hi there. I am Leslie Levito, and primarily I'm a business coach who helps individuals either start or scale a business. And yeah, also just in any kind of unfolding that people are in spiritually, somatically, just like love being in people's corner. It's a journey. Maybe next week I'll introduce myself a completely different way because who knows? Exponentiation is just happening.
and, and Leslie, how did we get to know each other?
Oh
How did
yeah.
we first start?
So I aspired to do a TEDx and got into a coaching program for TEDx in 2021, I think it was. I think it was late 2021. And so early 2022, I showed up. Was it? I think it was early 2023. Anyway, who cares what the year
23.
was?
Yeah.
But I showed up and there was a bunch of people in this room and everybody was getting their idea and their talks down. And Tanja was there. And I remember seeing you, Tanja, and hearing you. And as soon as I heard Tanja, I was like, this is my people. I need to, like, there are moments when you see individuals and you're like, this is someone to watch. This is someone like you want to be in their wake.
Mhm.
And I was like, I want to get to know this woman. And so through that coaching program, Tanja, actually, you were my coach in that program, getting my TEDx together. And then you ended up being a speaker coach for me for the first time that I took the stage with Thought Leader Talks
Yeah.
in 2024. So almost a year later. Um, and I never got my TEDx going with that other program. I think that it was just
Oh,
an
you were too busy. You
overwhelming.
were too busy making
Well,
hundreds of thousands of dollars
I
a
was super, I turned from focusing on my talk to focusing on my business, but also the talk format or like how I think it's a combination of the program and who I was at the time,
month.
where I was just overthinking everything too much and making it too big and too complex and too complicated. And so, um, yeah, and then we just kept talking. And then had the privilege of working with Tanja even closer as a life strategist and yeah, really dove deep. So it's been extraordinary. And then now Red Circle Ready,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
such a freaking phenomenal program.
And congratulations, because you are about to take a TEDx stage August 24th. So
I
basically,
know it's like 22 days.
so what happened was because I know Leslie and I know what she's capable of doing when she's put the pressure is on, and she's really coachable and a fantastic person. There was an opportunity with one of the TEDx's that I'm the speaker coach for. We lost a speaker, and I always keep I'm involved in running and speaker coaching multiple events across the country, and so I keep an ear open if all of a sudden we need somebody. We usually need them fast, and so I knew that Leslie could turn this around in 60 days. uh, get the talk written, get it done, make it happen. And so I invited her to step into that space. And of course, she never disappoints. So that's always awesome, making me look good.
I appreciate the opportunity. You make it easy though. I mean, I know we were talking about doing a different TEDx. It had a little bit of a more spacious timeline and, jumping into Red Circle Ready was, I mean, I just literally just went through and was like, boom, boom, boom. I mean, it was so cut and dry, but in the best way, because I'm a perfectionist, or I'm a recovering one. I don't even want to say that I am one.
Talks on perfectionism.
Yeah, my talks on letting go of perfectionism and just the way it was all laid out. I actually just sat down in a 24-hour period and binged it and just did the work, just like boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So it came up really easy. And I was like, wow, I just figured that all out in less than a day. Whereas before I spent like 6 months going in circles. It was, yeah, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah. And she's talking about the Red, for those of you who don't know, the Red Circle Ready program is my TEDx coaching program where I help people get their TEDx talks figured out from idea to the stage and beyond. And okay, so let's talk about you and this uh, whole pivot, because since I've known you, and we also met each other in the Business Accelerator, which was this program as well. So it was TEDx coaching, and then that other program had the Business Accelerator thing where I was like equally like, who the hell is that badass? And so we both had that masculine badass drive to
Mm-hmm.
excel when we met.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we recognized in each other. Here is a competitor, a friendly, like, here's
Feather.
right. Yeah. Here's somebody who, we can like,
Do I like them? Do I hate them? I kind of love them though.
yeah, exactly. And who like, oh, if I rise, they'll rise, that kind of friendly but good kind of competition with somebody that really makes you push harder. And yeah, I eventually dropped out, but you went on to be their golden goose and really kick some serious ass in there. Eventually pivoting because it wasn't sustainable energetically. So what I want you to highlight here is the fact that, there's a lot of business coaches out there, people who are, saying blah, 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 but they're not looking at the holistic
Mm.
person. And that's the pivot you made to be doing what you're doing now. So speak a little bit about that business coaching shouldn't just be a formulaic step by step to burnout.
Oh yeah. And I also just want to pin back. It's like Tanja dropped out of the program because she had the ability to see what was coming down the pipeline and the energetic almost swirl. I didn't I didn't have that visibility then. I am pretty clear I have it now. So just kind of long story short, I did the program that Tanja and I were in. It was a 90-day program, very rock and roll. The promise was $100,000 revenue in 3 months. I did 105. Then I continued on to another program of doing $100,000 months, which I, slayed that dragon too. And then I was the only person who was in another just for me custom program of doing $1 million months. And I had this moment of knowing like I could tangibly do it and I would get lost in the process, and that the cost of it was going to be, the sacrifice would be too great, particularly not only for myself, but my kids and my husband. And that was actually when I started working with Tanja, you as my life strategist. But I think, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. When it comes to business coaching, any kind of coaching, really, there's so many different layers of it. It's like the season you're in, what you need right now, the season that coach is in. And like, that's one thing I've really thought about. Like, even when you see a testimonial, it's like, who knows what magic ingredients were all happening at the time of that testimonial. And you can't have someone else's testimonial way too much, I think, on your own like sovereign choice. And it's interesting because actually, Tanja, I don't know if you know this, you're the first coach that when I was thinking of working with you, I went to go ask someone who I knew worked with Tanja, what did you think? How was it for you? And I was like, who freaking cares what their experience with Tanja was? Like, it is a data point, but I knew how I felt.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I mean, just because they didn't have a great experience, does that mean I'm not going to have a great experience? Or just because they had a great experience, does that mean I'm going to have one? So it's kind of hard to say, but I think, really understanding, like, for me, business coaching, what I've noticed is I swung and had a really masculine coach and then a really feminine coach. And it was like a pendulum swing for me. And for me, like, the integration of both masculine and feminine energy is everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It It's the only thing.
I mean, it's the only way. I mean, yeah.
Because you need the drive and you need the goal and you need the strategy. But man, if you just only lean into that, your nervous system and everything else, and you just crash and freaking burn.
And it's not fun.
No, no, because you've been like through the dark night of the soul as you pivoted to change everything. And I'm so, one of the things that I'm really probably the most impressed by you is that, you will do the hard stuff. And sometimes the hard stuff is burning it all down and letting it all go to let it
Yeah. I mean, I think I just did the Dark Night of the Soul extended 14-month remix. Um, and really the underscoring of it is, sometimes the dark night, first of all, the length of the Dark Night of the Soul, I think has a lot to do with us.
yeah. How many times you need to hear something or before you
Yeah. I mean,
happen.
for me though, I've just been so masculine, so type A, such a perfectionist. And then I've achieved, a 7-figure business. So dismantling that
Yeah.
was, it was like, do I have the fucking cojones, the balls to say, like, am I going to stand so hard in my truth that I'm going to say goodbye to a multi-million dollar business?
Yeah.
And then I think for me, the other part was, it was not just that. It was also stepping into being more of a spiritual leader, which I had all these conversations around that about. I mean, I have all this wounding in this lifetime and other lifetimes around what will people think about me. I'm an incredibly loyal person. So just like breaking a lot of loyalty leashes, not only to relationships and clients, to former versions of myself. Like, yeah, I guess it took a minute.
Yeah. Well, you actually did it really fast. I mean, you think it was slow, but it's really to revolutionize like that. It's actually been pretty damn fast. So that is the thing. And so what I really love is you are a badass. You know how to build. You know how to create, and you're badass enough to go, oof. Why keep pushing in the unsustainable? Burn it down, start again, see where he is. And I think all of the people that are in the collective are entrepreneurs in some range or another, whether they're speakers, authors, whatever they're doing. But we all need the trifecta. We need the talk, we need the book, we need the course. If you're a coach, this is what a speaker, you need all three. And we're all entrepreneurs. And I think the most important thing being an entrepreneur is protecting your confidence, because nobody else is going to believe in some of the shit you're going to make decisions about.
Yeah.
So like, how do you stand in that when everybody else is going, are you crazy? What are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I've always kind of been a dog on a bone when it comes to what my future. I mean, I am like part entrepreneurial crazy and maybe just crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I remember back in my 20s, I built a multi-million dollar retail business. And I remember at the beginning of that, everyone was like, what are you doing? You're like dropping out of medical school, like, or pre-med track. Like, my family literally disowned me over this choice to do business. And there's always been an ember within me that I was just like, I'm just going to fan that. I just know, like a knowing inside me, but I've always also had great structures around me, having great communities like this one, great coaches like you, Tanja, to kind of keep me, going. And I think truthfully, the work that I've done in this last sprint, specifically with you, Tanja, around creating a foundation. Oh, I got blurry. Around creating a foundation for self-love, self-worth, self-trust, these somatic and nervous system exercises have gotten me to a place where I can come from confidence. See, a lot of my confidence, it's so interesting. I would have never described myself as someone who didn't have confidence. but everything that I was doing was externally sourced.
Mm.
Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to go hit that milestone. I'm going to go do that thing that person, like that person says 100, like, I don't even know why $100,000 months are so cool. Because if your expenses are $99,000, and it does not matter. Let me tell you, like it doesn't matter. But we have all these like fake things in society. Like when I was an executive, oh, being an executive, a six-figure executive, does it matter? No, not when you're dying and suffering and you hate your fucking life. It doesn't matter. Does
Yeah.
$100,000 months matter? No, not when you're like also suffering and dying and crashing.
Right.
So learning to have to be self-sourced has been everything.
Yeah.
And
I
that's where the true confidence comes, and because you can trust.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the thing. That's the thing I think that has helped me when, like the trust of going, oh, I want to be in that group with you. And, the one I dropped out of, I wanted to be in the group with you. I knew I could hit all the marks because I've done it before. And, yeah, super cool to rise, but it felt wrong. It felt like, that's the pulse that's going. So that was trusting myself, even though I logically really wanted it. Everything lined up for me. I could see you and I like, yeah, we're egging each other on. We're doing this,
I
whatever.
mean, seriously, Tanya, I probably could have done $200,000 months,
Yeah,
$200,000 in that 90 days if you just stuck around. But
I know. But well,
I want to acknowledge you, because if I had the wherewithal to have energetically or felt it, I wouldn't have had the balls to quit. I would have been so caught up in like what's everyone gonna think, or like I don't want to be a quitter,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, so many of these things, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that personal confidence when you're going again, I feel you, because years ago it would have been the same for me. I would have stayed no matter what, and I would have like killed myself to do it. Yeah. So
Oh my
okay.
God. Sorry. I know this is like so random.
No, that's so random.
You may end up cutting this out, but I just had this major breakthrough the other day and I didn't share it with you yet,
Oh,
Tanya.
sure.
So my name got put in the ring to be on the board of a nonprofit here in Los Angeles for homelessness.
Mm.
I was invited by my mentor. She's like a big deal to me. And it's like a big deal to even be invited. So I go to the like interview with the CEO of this company. And I look him up like an hour before, as you should before you go interview, right? And I just went because I was like, my mentor says to go. Like, Tanya, if you told me to go somewhere, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go meet this person because Tanya said so. Because there's certain people who I just implicitly trust. So I look him up and I'm like, oh, wow, this guy used to be a senator.
Mm.
And I meet him. And, here's this gentleman. He's so lovely. Used to be the senator. He's like the CEO of a $100 million company.
Mm.
Now, former Leslie would have been completely spinning and feeling so less than and like feeling contracted. I went to this meeting and it was so incredible because it was so lovely to connect with him. And he explained to me what he wanted. And I, in my full presence and power, said, yeah, I love everything that you're up to. And I also want to just like eyes wide open, let you know about me. Like I have zero nonprofit experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really great at seeing patterns. I'm really cool at connecting the dots. I don't know how you're going to look at this, but like I could be like the perfect clay that you mold as like coming in cleaned,
Yeah.
totally green. And I'm also a nonconformist. And you should know this.
See what you're getting in for.
Yeah, I'm a truth teller. I'm a way shower. And I'm not going to do things because that's the way it's always been done.
Mm.
So this kind of feels more of like a corporate setting. That's never been my vibe. And it was just cool to be me fully
Yeah.
in my power, not feeling like I got to pretend or be
Mm-hmm.
it's the first time that I didn't chameleon myself.
Say that's what I was about to say. Yeah, you
And
didn't.
I've been chameleoning my whole life.
Yeah.
And I just said it. And he was like, wow, your power and your presence, like you're that type of leader that doesn't need to shout. You just like quietly, calmly. And it was interesting that he could also see me and then I could be known by this incredible human.
Because you showed up fully. If you want to be known, you
Yeah.
gotta like be transparent.
Yeah. And then he asked me to put together a resume and I was like, wait, do I have to? Like I haven't had a resume in 15 years. And even when I was going through the resume process of like, this is what a resume looks like, I just literally was like, fuck that. So it just says like top of the resume. I didn't come up through the nonprofit ranks.
Right.
What I have done, I've built business movements.
Yeah.
I've built cultural icons, branding icons here in Los Angeles. And it was the first time that I wrote that I wasn't like, oh, can I say that about myself? Can I like claim that? But it was just like,
Oh,
yeah, permission, permission slips. So yeah.
I love that. No, and we're not cutting anything out of anything. So, okay. So, I love that. Permission slips is the thing that all of us, first of all, need to stop apologizing for who we are, the space we take up, and everything else. We need to step into our yes, this is what I do. Yes, this is how things happen. A lot of the people in the collective have, I'm dropping posts about how, 4 million views, whatever, uh, things are happening in the Facebook world because I'm showing up. I wrote the word COCK in a Facebook post.
I'm like,
Wait, what word is
I'm like, what is this acronym?
in a Facebook post? I can write anything on my walls. I do not get shut down, do not get turned off. In fact, they just distribute my content even more. I'm finding that really fascinating. So unapologetically me, I'm writing from that space. And I love that you brought that up. So that is a huge win. Okay. What are you looking for in the collective? How can the collective help you? And what kind of support can you offer?
Wow. I think if you are in a space of like things don't feel clear, I think clarity and strategy is definitely my superpower. Or if you're like, God, I'm like a perfectionist type A overachiever, you need some help getting that stick out of your ass. I'm totally your girl.
I love that.
And
Just
I'm
like that.
actually really saying it because there's a time and space where that masculinity and that drive serves us. And then for me, I got to a space where it just really contracted me. And I was grumpy and miserable. And I was like, I'm not even who I want to be anymore. So, if you're in that space, I would, love to have a conversation with you. And I guess, what do I need? And like, I mean, my cup feels so filled, but I guess in talking to me, if you know anybody who I could help them, I'd love an introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you help people scale too. So it's not just if you are starting your business, but one of the things Leslie's great at is being able to look at what you have going on and go like, why is it not sustainable? Like, where are you stepping out of that power where you could step in and really streamline? And that's what she's been doing. Because one of the things you said that was super important was $100,000. Because we talked about this, you were making like a huge amount of money, and yet the profit was pretty minimal. I was only doing 175,000, but my profit was 90%. So it's like if we looked at the numbers, her months were like 3 times my year. But if you looked at the numbers, yeah, streamlining systems and stuff. And I think you've really got that down, how to be able to let go of stuff that really isn't serving you anymore. So I think that's a superpower. And I think there are definitely people in the collective that I've seen that would benefit from understanding that and not just keep complicating and throwing Frankensteining together stuff that ends up being so cumbersome and so difficult that it saps all the joy out of it.
Yeah. I mean, every business owner does the thing where we build the plane as we fly it. And then we're like, I don't want to let go of this because this is everything that I know. And then you don't really have time to like re-architect it. And then
Right?
sometimes you're so myopic, you don't even know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely a pattern finder and a systems thinker.
Yeah.
But also just can really step into what do you need to let go of in order to discover another chapter, era, way of being. In fact, my handle on social media is let go and discover, because it's like the continual process of letting go of who we think we are, who we think our business is, who we think, to discover true possibilities and potential. So
Yeah, that's perfect. And then I know what the collective can do for you, even though you don't.
Oh.
Leslie has a TEDx coming up, and on August 24th. And after we do TEDx's, we have when they launch. And so I've told everybody this: when your TEDx goes live and your organizer says it's live, you don't just immediately share the link. You create a launch party because of algorithms. So you get your peeps together and you're like, hey, we're going to have this launch party. And it's a Zoom launch party, get the champagne out, whatever, invite everybody you can. So this is where the collective can show up as
Mhm.
well. And then basically, you hang out with your party. You can do prize, you can do all sorts of stuff, or just do let's all hang out. And then it's like, everybody grab your device and go. And we drop the link and go watch it. Even 20, 30, 40 people, however many it is, hitting that algorithm all at once on YouTube all of a sudden propels that TEDx. And you don't have to launch once. You just like a book, just like a course, you can launch over and over again. So it's not just when it goes live. But that is what the collective can do. And when Leslie says, hey, my talk is going live, we can all jump in and support that launch. So that's what I'm going to say we should do. And
Oh, thank you. That's a great idea. What a strategist she is.
woo, in my title. so so that would be it. Any final words you want to say as we wrap it up?
No, just thank you so much. And so excited to meet some of you through this community. And thank you, Tanya. Just
Yeah, you are so welcome. All right. If you haven't done your interview yet, I don't know what you're thinking. You should, because I'm going to send you the video. You can take it, edit it, chop it up, do whatever you want, throw it out there in the world, but it's also going to be up in the collective. So we're getting to know each other. Yeah, do it. I mean, no, what do you want to be? Who Corinna says she was the best kept secret. She's a coach who's the best kept secret in coaching. That's not how you want to be. So, Corinna, thank you for telling people that because, yeah, we need to get known more. And she's waiting to do her interview too. And I think that's important. So, let's not be the best kept secrets in our industry. How about we actually get out here and get vocal? And that's it for today.